This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC 306, aka Noche UFC. I'm going to give you guys my lock of the week, my most confident picks on the card. We'll talk my favorite underdogs, Degen Props of the night, and then finish it out with the parlays. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. Last week was fire. I swept this show with the most confident picks, going 4-0 plus the lock of the week, which was a W, making it 5-0 with the confident calls. So I'm very happy about how the last card went, and I think that's good momentum heading into this Noche UFC card. Last week's lock was Gabriel Santos. He looked spectacular. It was a chalky locky though. And it's all right that it was a chalky locky because sometimes you got to do it. But you know, the safety parlay tends to come through. Now, this week, I'm not going for a chalky locky. I got a good money lineable lock of the week. So I want to jump right into things. Without further ado, the lock of the week. Sugar Sean O'Malley, lock of the week for UFC 306. I won't lie to you guys. I knew that I was locking Sugar's show before I had done a full breakdown for this card, before I had dropped any videos on UFC 306. I believe in Sean O'Malley a ton, and I think his style is so good for Merab. I know a lot of people are talking about, well, Merab's pressure wrestling. What happens when he gets O'Malley down? I think it's going to be a lot easier said than done to even get O'Malley into a compromised position on the floor. If anything, I see Merab attempting to wrestle, leaving himself open and getting counter-striked. And I'm going to predict that Sean O'Malley knocks Merab out. Look at Merab. He got stunned by Cejudo. You look some fights back. Marlon Moraes was able to hurt him badly. O'Malley's going to finish the job. His footwork is insane. I believe his grappling is actually underrated. He does have a submission win in grappling against Takanori Gomi. I think he's definitely better at jiu-jitsu than the credit that is given to him. And his wrestling defense is something he's put a lot of work into. On top of all of that, he has the length advantage over Merab. He's a better striker from distance than Merab. He's cleaner on the feet by a long shot than Merab. And his footwork makes him so hard to get a hold of. He's so light and quick on his feet that I think Merab is going to struggle to even get super close to him. I think Sean O'Malley is really live to do a ton of damage to Merab in the striking realm. And I do think because Merab is going to exert himself looking to get this fight to the floor in a position where he'll be definitely most comfortable, he's going to get counter shot KO'd. So I'm going Sean O'Malley, lock of the week at minus 130. Now, I also am predicting he's going to find the chin. It's going to be a Sugar Show KO. O'Malley by knockout does get you plus money. It's upwards of plus 165 right now. Granted, on the low end, you find it at plus 120. I'm going for O'Malley on the KO as the official method of victory call, but it's a great money line. You don't really have to risk it all to try to bet a prop when you can just touch it down the center. You don't even have to parlay O'Malley. You can just straight bet him at minus 130. Now, unfortunately, the line has flipped. Initially, O'Malley was at ever so slight plus money, and you could have got him at an underdog tag, which is better. But I don't think it matters because either way, you're going to be winning with Sean O'Malley and still champion after Saturday night. I really love the stylistic clash. I'm super excited for the fight, and I think Sean O'Malley is going to put on a career performance in this fight against Merab. And I think it's a stylistic clash that strongly favors him, and we're going Sugar Show, taking it all the way. Another title defense, and I'm going to call a knockout win over Merab. This week's lock. And still, it's our main event. It's Sean O'Malley, the Sugar Show, taking it home for, a big Noche UFC W. Listen, he's Mexican by marriage. His girl's Mexican. So he's going to take it home for the Mexican people with some clean punch combinations and put Merab Dvalishvili to sleep. So Sean O'Malley is the lock for Noche UFC 306. I do want to talk about some of my most confident picks on the card. I'll bring them all up on screen and we can discuss everything. First and foremost, Raul Rosas Jr. I know the line sucks. He's at like minus 800 right now, but this is most confident, and he is a supreme confidence pick. I do think he's going to get this fight to the ground and get a finish over Aoriqileng. As far as the inside distance line for Rosas, minus 325. So still chalky as hell, even for inside distance. And if you're looking to touch a Rosas win by submission, it's minus 155. Now, a knockout for Rosas is all the way up at plus 500. Can you imagine he drops some heavy ground and pound? It is possible. That's why I mentioned that inside distance. But official method of victory call is going to be a submission win for Rosas. I think he's going to have success getting this fight to the ground. He's going to make Aoriqileng very uncomfortable with his smothering top pressure, and I think he is going to work to the back control, and he is going to get a rear naked choke. So I'm going with Raul Rosas to take a big W home. I don't think Aoriqileng has crazy power. Though he has decent boxing, it's not going to be enough to keep Rosas off of him. And I actually don't think Rosas is a dead man in kickboxing with Aoriqileng either. We saw Quilong badly knocked out by Ayman Zahabi, so we've seen him laid clean before. But I don't think Rosas is going to be flatlining him and striking. I'm just mentioning that Aoriqileng, though he's good, he's not a spectacular striker with subpar grappling. He's a decent striker with okay grappling. He's been taken down and controlled before, and I think Raul Rosas is on his way to a dominant win and another breakout performance for the damn teenager. Rosas for the W, officially submission as I pull the Zin out. Shout out to the Zins. Let's keep running through most confident picks. Next one, we got Yasmin Jauregui to get a W, minus 425. She is a fat favorite, but she's going to beat Ketlen Souza. She's way technically superior as far as the striking. She also has very good speed, and on top of that, good footwork. Ketlen Souza would have a quote-unquote puncher's chance, and we saw Denise Gomes knock out Jauregui very early with a big shot, and we did see Estela Nunes catch her with a nice punch. Granted, the recovery was good in that fight. Ketlen Souza looked great against Marnik Man, but Marnik Man is nowhere near the level of Jauregui. This should be a one-sided squash match type of fight. I think that Jauregui is going to be clean from the outside. I think Jauregui is going to land multi-shot combinations. I think she's going to stay away from Ketlen Souza well, and I do think Yasmin Jauregui is taking a decision win home. Jauregui is a big favorite, even by decision, minus 155, so you're not getting much love on Jauregui taking home a decision win, but I am going to call the decision because Souza's tough. Granted, if Jauregui was to drop her, I think it could be from body kicks. Ketlen Souza quit against Ariane Carnelosi in 2019 outside of the UFC after a teep kick to the stomach. She went down and was completely finished. So I do think Jauregui has a possibility of a body shot knockout, but she hasn't shown a lot of power in the UFC. She's more so shown precision, good volume, and really nice footwork. I think that Jauregui is a pretty highly skilled stand-up fighter, and she's got some serious advantages here against Ketlen Souza, and I expect a quality display from her en route to a pretty clean 30-27 win. Now, yes, she's a chalky line at minus 425, but she's a damn confident pick, and for me, one of the most confident picks on the card. Jauregui taking it home. Decision is the official method of victory call. Now, next up, I'm doing the over in the Irene Aldana and Norma Dumont fight. I think this goes over 2.5. Minus 450 for the over. Now, there is an argument. Oh, but Aldana does have a bit of power. Fair point, but I think Dumont's in great physical condition. I think she can eat some decent shots from Aldana. Recently, Aldana went the distance with Caral Hosa in a pretty back-and-forth war where she landed some massive shots. But Dumont is going to be looking to tie up, and I do see some of this fight taking place inside of the clinch. Now, my official pick here is Aldana, but it's not the most high-confident call, and that's why she down the center is not a most confident pick. It's even line at minus 110 on both sides, but I think there is a high possibility of this fight going the distance. Now, if you are picking the side of Aldana, she's probably doing a bit more damage, and I think taking a hard-fought split decision home. If you're picking Dumont, I'm assuming you're predicting she gets the fight to the ground. And I'm going with the over 2.5 because I just have a strong hunch that this fight is going all the way. A lot of women's fights lately, especially at 135. Granted, if you talk contender series, you got knockouts galore, submissions and whatnot. But I think this fight is going to hit that over 2.5 mark. At minus 450, I know it's chalky, and I know some people don't love it because, oh, Aldana knocked out Ketlen Vieira, or she knocked out Yana Santos. Fair points. That was a while ago, though, and I just don't see her with a high likelihood KO of Norma Dumont, and that is why I'm confident in the over 2.5 rounds in this fight. Now, next one, we got another one. High confident call. Grasso and still champion. She had successful striking moments against Schevchenko last time, and I have said this throughout the week. Alexa Grasso is better now than she was in their previous 2 fights, and I believe Schevchenko is probably worse. At best, she's equal to what we saw last time a year ago, but I'm going to assume at 36, she's not as precise, and I think her timing is going to be a little bit off, whereas I think Grasso is going to look cleaner than ever before. I think Alexa Grasso is in the best physical shape of her career, and I also think she is at the highest level of confidence. And again, Noche UFC has to give her more momentum heading into this fight. Last time it was a draw at Noche UFC, and I know Schevchenko felt as though it was a robbery because it wasn't a 10-8 fifth round, but that one deciding judge who scored it 47-47 had it for Grasso 10-8 in the final round. Personally, though, I think 3-2 Grasso makes a lot of sense in that fight, and by no means do I think that was a robbery. Now, it being a draw is a technically incorrect scorecard because it's just simply impossible that was a 10-8 fifth round. So you could say, oh, Schevchenko deserved it then. Did she, though? I kind of felt like Grasso could have got the nod. Either way, better version of Grasso versus what I am going to anticipate is a worse version of Valentina Shevchenko. We're going to see the best Grasso yet. At minus 140, I actually think it's a fabulous line. Grasso, to win by decision, is probably live, but this is what I'll tell you. Because she did damage in their last fight in the striking realm and had Valentina hurt, and then on top of that, she got a submission in their first fight, there is a world where Alexa Grasso finishes this fight. I will mention Grasso inside of the distance is up at plus 250. Now, decision is, kind of like the safe call you would think, but I just don't think it's a good prop bet. That's plus 200. Grasso KO is all the way up at plus 850. She hurt Schevchenko before, and then Grasso sub is plus 400, and she did submit her in the past. I could see a sub. Ultimately, though, you have a minus 140 money line. Forget about trying to chase props in this fight. I think that your best option is down the center on Grasso and potentially parlaying Grasso up, which we will mention Grasso at the end during the parlay section. I got some savage calls for you guys. We'll get there. Grasso, high confidence pick. Now, normally, that is the end of the most confident pick section, but because it's Noche UFC, which is, the Sphere card, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime event, I felt compelled to give you guys a special bonus honorable mention / 5th most confident call. And it's going to be a straight fighter call because I have an over, and I know some of you guys don't love the idea of playing an over in an Aldana fight because she does have some punching power. So if you don't want to play Aldana, an alternate most confident pick, Diego Lopes. I'm picking him by decision. I think that he is going to win against Brian Ortega. I got a good feeling that he's taking it home on the judges' scorecards in a hard-fought fight. He definitely could fatigue in that third round. Ortega could have successful moments, but I think we're going to see the best version of Diego Lopes ever. He's got a physicality advantage. He's definitely the better striker, and I think when we go to the ground, Lopes is the guy ending up in top position, and that's why for me, Diego Lopes is also a most confident pick this week for Noche UFC 306. Is it risky? Sure, because he hasn't faced a Brian Ortega level fighter before. But he handled Dan Ige, who came in on very short notice. Oh, but he looked kind of bad against Ige. Bro, he cut to 45, then they switched the fight to 55, and then he's fighting Dan Ige coming in at 170. You get what I'm saying? So suboptimal circumstance there. I think Lopes is en route to getting a hard-fought win over a legend of the game in Brian Ortega. So I am going to add the honorable mention Diego Lopes call in the most confident pick section because I just want to give you guys more savagery for Noche UFC. Those are the most confident picks. Hope you guys liked them. I do want to jump to my favorite underdogs on this card. Now, earlier in the week, I had more than one dog, But because of the change of lines, I currently have technically one dog, Esteban Ribovics. Now, this is a pretty damn close fight, and it's one that I have ran through in my mind hundreds of damn times. I'm sleeping on this damn fight. I'm like, am I sure on Ribovics? Let me tell you why I like Ribovics. His pressure boxing and already the fact that I think Zellhuber gets hit on the inside. Now, Zellhuber has a length advantage, and he's going to be looking to use a jab, hit some snapping kicks, and control distance. He maybe even will look to wrestle. But Ribovics is in very good condition. He has nice punching power. He has big flurrying shots that I think he could make Zellhuber uncomfortable. Overall, I would say this is a pretty 50-50-ish fight, but I just have a hunch that Esteban Ribovics could surprise Zellhuber. And also note it, Zellhuber is fighting at 55, and he's very tall and lanky for the weight class. I do worry about the chins of some of the tall and lanky guys. Now, I know he's Mexican, so technically that should negate my worry on his chin, but I just can't shake this feeling that Ribovics could hurt him here. Zellhuber will probably surprise us with a bit of wrestling. And I think he will also be surprised by the grappling defense of Esteban Ribovics. Ribovics is at a very good camp. He's at Killcliff FC. He's 13-1. Zellhuber's 15-1. Both guys have a ton of upside and potential, and I'm really curious to see this clash. And I just have a hunch that Ribovics can land more significant strikes and maybe shock Zellhuber for a KO. Now, plus 185 down the money line. This is definitely a riskier bet. The most confident picks, the lock, definitely more confident. But this is an honest call. Over 1.5 minus 255. I lean yes there. And then looking at Ribovics by a KO, it's upwards of plus 550. Ribovics second round KO plus 1,600. Third round plus 2,000. I think Ribovics is live for a surprise knockout or a hard-fought and gritty decision. Zellhuber is looking to control from distance, and I'm not going to be shocked if it goes Zellhuber's way. I'm not trying to sell you guys on betting this underdog if you don't like it, but I am picking Esteban Ribovics, and I do think he has a real chance to win this fight against Zellhuber. To me, this is a 50-50 fight, not a minus 220 for Zellhuber and Ribovics at plus 185. I think it's a lot more like minus 120 to plus 100 if you're lining up the betting odds properly. I don't know. I mean, at open, you had minus 170 for Zellhuber, but some money has come down and it's grown a bit. I think Ribovics can surprise a lot of people. And it's not because of the Terrence McKinney knockout that I'm calling him either. He's shown promise in all of his UFC fights. And Zellhuber lost the second round to Venata. He got touched on the inside. Giagos hit him with a big shot. And Giagos has got decent hooks, but he doesn't have the speed of Ribovics. He doesn't rip the combinations like Ribovics. At times, I would say Ribovics is relentless. And I think he's got a bright future in the sport. So I'm going with Esteban Ribovics for the upset. Now, technically speaking, we don't have a second underdog, but it was Manuel Torres. I am picking Manuel Torres in the fight. He's a minus 120 favorite, but instead of putting him in here as a favorite dog when it's not true at this moment, instead, we're going to jump to the next section. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new, subscribe. Let's talk some Degen props. And I want to first mention Manuel Torres. I think he's got a chance to finish Ignacio Bahamondes. Now, inside distance, plus 125. No distance, which I talked about during Moneyline with my boy Pick'em. That's currently sitting at minus 125, which is not an awful call. No distance, because I think he'd be more live for a win inside distance, and then Bahamondes maybe takes a decision on him. But Torres by sub at plus 500 is a very interesting, completely degenerate prop. Now, overall, betting Degen props is not how you capitalize and make money in the long run. But if you hit them once in a while and sprinkle it right, it can add to your winning pot. And that's why I'm mentioning the Torres submission line. Ultimately, down the center on Torres at minus 120, if you're looking for a little value play, not a horrible call. He's in the biggest fight of his life, but I'm also a big fan. Am I being blinded by my fandom? I don't think so. I'm not super sold on Bahamondes. He's gritty. He's decent from the outside, but he doesn't have the same power as Torres, and I also don't think he has the same submission game as Torres either. So I am picking Manuel. Now, to talk about some of the props, though, or rather, this is going to be some over-unders. Specifically, two overs that I like. Lopes, Ortega over 1.5 at minus 240. I got a hunch this fight is going over 1.5. I got a hunch this fight is going distance. So maybe you're doing Lopes by a decision, or maybe you're touching the over 2.5. But the damn over 1.5 just seems high confidence for me. And another one, Ode Osborne and Rodriguez, freaking Ronaldo, is over 1.5, minus 145. What? Why would a flyweight fight have an over 1.5 at minus 145? What world are we living in? It's flyweight. I think this fight can definitely hit the over 1.5. So I do like that over 1.5 too. And I definitely think it's a value piece for a potential parlay. So just some ideas for you guys to add a little steam with the prop section. Not super degen, but some slight degeneracy for you all. Now I do want to jump to the fan favorite section, the fame section, the one and only parlay section for Noche UFC. What am I thinking with the Savage parlays? I got a lot of them, and I'm actually going to do one at the end, so don't just screenshot it and bail out. I got one that's not listed here that I'm going to drop, and it's extreme degeneracy. First and foremost, safe mode. O'Malley and Rosas Jr. is going to happen. Plus 103. I feel really good about that. And still, and Rosas getting a W in the first fight, so main event and first fight of the night, I think there's a good chance it happens. O'Malley, Rosas Jr., and Yasmin Jauregui, plus 145. I think that's relatively safe too. Now, if you're looking for a little safe alternate, you're like, bro, keep me off O'Malley. I'm a Morale believer. Okay, listen, you on your side, I'm on mine, but we can still meet in the middle. Rosas Jr., Jauregui, and the Aldana and Dumont over 2.5 at minus 145 is a little alternate safety play. Obviously, doesn't bring you any plus money, which is disappointing because that's what you want with the parlays, but it's better than a minus 500 line on betting fucking, Actually, Rosas is minus 800, but shit, it's better than minus 800 on Rosas or minus 425 on Jauregui. Adding some more steam, but this is an alternate. Ronaldo Rodriguez is a big fan base. Now, I'm picking him to win, but by no means is he a most confident pick. But I just had a hunch, Rodriguez and Jauregui, plus 110 for a little alternate action. Not a horrible call. Now, instead of touching the Rodriguez and Jauregui money line, I didn't list this one off here for this specific parlay, but I'm just going to tell you guys, and this is why I say don't just screenshot it. Listen to me. The over 1.5 in Rodriguez, Osborne, and Jauregui is also a pretty good alternate. And if you like Sugar Show in the main, you could add that too. There's definitely some savage alternates. Now, if you just want over-under action, you like Lopes, the over 1.5 there with Ortega and Lopes, and the Aldana Dumont over 2.5. It's minus 135. I got a hunch this is going to happen. You add in the side of Ronaldo Rodriguez and Osborne's over 1.5. Now you're in plus money zone at plus 194, nearly plus 200. Now, if you want to put Sugar Show with the 3 magical overs, you got plus 425 for that. So lucky number plus 42 in the mix of it all. That's pretty live. Now, O'Malley and Grasso together, I think, is safe-ish. I got double and stills as my predictions for the card. And then O'Malley, Grasso, and Lopes, if you want to go the big 3 fights and bet them all down for a damn live parlay, it's plus 390. Thinking about some more, though. O'Malley, Rosas Jr., Jauregui, and the Aldana Dumont over 2.5 brings you to plus 200. It's a live call, and it's on somewhat the safer side. Now, O'Malley, Grasso, Rosas Jr., Jauregui, and Aldana Dumont. So you're looking to add some real steam to it. This is the true lucky number, plus 420. That's savage mode, but I got a hunch it comes through. It's my lucky number right there, plus 420. Shout out to it. Now, if you want to add more savagery, O'Malley, Grasso, Lopes, Rosas Jr., Jauregui, and Aldana and Dumont over. You're adding in that line of Lopes. You got plus 706. It's a savage AF call. And then if you like O'Malley, Grasso, Lopes, Rosas Jr., Jauregui, Aldana Dumont, and then adding in Ronaldo Rodriguez, you got plus 1270. Now, instead of just adding in Ronaldo Rodriguez for a very similar line, just add the over 1.5 in their fight. You're actually going to get pretty much the same line for that. That's not a bad idea if you don't want to pick a winner between the two and you think maybe Ode Osborne has a chance to expose Ronaldo Rodriguez. It's a maybe. It's a strong maybe. I wouldn't be 100% sure on Ode Osborne, but it could definitely go over 1.5, and it's worth mentioning. Now, I told you guys, I had one that I was going to drop after the fact. So we have the big 3 overs. Lopes, Ortega over 1.5. Aldana Dumont over 2.5. Rodriguez, Osborne over 1.5. Add on top of that Sean O'Malley, Alexa Grasso, Diego Lopes, Yasmin Jauregui, and Raul Rosas Jr., you got plus 1826, which is super degenerate. And, you know, I'm not telling you that's the lock of the century, but I do got a chance that it's going to come through. I don't know. I got a hunch. I got a strong hunch. I got a little inkling. I don't know. I got a feeling inside that it's more live than you'd expect. Now, if you want to add some more degeneracy, like if you added Esteban Ribovics, now you got plus 5,485, but I'm not telling you to add in, you know, a big 50-50 underdog as the saving grace of all your parlays, and then you're kicking yourself because you shot for 5-1 or fucking 5-1, 50-1 when you could have had plus 1,800, which is pretty beautiful, you know? Now, I didn't put Joshua Van in anything, but I do think the over 1.5 at that fight at minus 420 is live. And if you added that to this current Degen call, now you got plus 2284. That's pretty crazy. And if you like the over 2.5, you think it's going distance, now you got plus 2663. So now you got crazy plus money. You can go so Degen, though, as you continue to add more legs to these parlays. So I will reiterate it to the people that maybe just watch for a first time. Highest likelihood of success on parlays is simple. 2 to 3 legs. When you exceed that point, you are doing the Degen lottery tickets. Not that they don't win. They do. And it's happened plenty of times. And sometimes you're going to cash that plus 1270. But more consistently, you're going to hit 2 to 3 fighters. It's obvious. Less risk, yeah, less bang for your buck. But at the end of the day, the real bang is getting the money in your account as opposed to trying to throw down and chase plus 5,000 and you miss when you would have hit a plus 105. Shit, give me that plus 105 hitting than missing plus 5,000s all day. So do your own research. If you are betting, you need to do your own due diligence. I'm telling you what I'm thinking, and I put a lot of time into this. The people that follow, they know. But ultimately, the best recipe for success is comparing what you're already thinking with what I'm thinking, because doing yourself the due diligence of some research and then building your confidence, maybe off what I say and say, shit, I totally agree. Double down the confidence. That's the ones you bet on. Now, if you're just throwing a few bucks, you're in a different spot. But if you're a serious bettor, you need to be doing your film study too. So that is it for the people. The parlay section, degeneracy mixed with high confidence. I'm feeling good about it. I think there's one like I didn't list, like O'Malley, the over in the damn Rodriguez fight. I got a hunch it's going to happen. I'm going to quickly check the line because I'm curious what it's sitting at. So Rosas Jr., right? You put him in with the over 1.5 in this Rodriguez fight, which I think is likely at fucking minus 215. It's not even a bad line. You got minus 155 for those two. You add in the Sugar Show, it's plus 195. Like I said, similar to some of the other odds that we saw, and I think it's got a good chance of coming through. Those are the parlays for Noche UFC. Another episode of this week's Best MMA Bets in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the picks, the parlays, and everything. And I want to know what you guys are playing. Let me know some of your favorite bets on this card. I want to hear from the people. Hope you all enjoyed. If you got nothing to say in the comments, but you just enjoy the content, W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Smash the likes on your way out. And if you're new, subscribe. Why wouldn't you? Daily content? Covering this damn UFC 306 card like a savage, you should be here every damn day. I appreciate you all. And turn the post notifications on too, especially if you want to get notified when I'm going live, because I'm also doing daily live streams on top of the normal content schedule. So if you don't know, now you know. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.